Que pasa YouTube? 6 Foot Hacks here. Have for y'all today a UU Wi-Fi battle I had against Avirat. Oh, I think that's how you pronounce their name. I had got this match off of my Discord. Of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, make sure to hammer on that thumbs up button down below. I will leave a paste bin of this team down in the description. I believe I got this team from my boy Harris. It's awesome. It does have some pretty cool sets like Gracium Z, Rotom, Bronzong, which you don't see too often in UU, Restock, Snorlax instead of like the regular recycle set, and the defensive Infernape, and then especially offensive Altaria and Scarf Nidoking, which Nidoking in general is just a really cool mon in my opinion. Shouts out to those of you who are following this season of the P4G, because Nidoking is indeed a monster. So going into this game, easily the biggest threat on my opponent's team was going to be that Superior, mainly because if it is sub-seed, once it gets boosted behind a sub, it's gonna be a real nightmare to deal with, and I have to find a way to make sure that it does not freely set up like that. As he ends up leading off with a Hydreigon, I end up leading off with my Rotom. Turns out that he's choice specs, because after I checked the damage calc, there was no way he could have done that much damage to my Rotom. And then he's also able to get the flinch, which is a little bit annoying, but thankfully doesn't matter at all too much. So I switch into my Snorlax here, which again is not like the normal Figgy Berry set. It is indeed the Restock set, which I think is kind of cool. Actually, one quick little thing about the face cam, some of you guys did say you liked it. I think only like 1 or 2 people said they weren't a big fan of it, and outside of that, the video still did pretty well. So I may stick to these facecam Wi-Fi battles just for a little bit, see how things go. If you guys do kind of not enjoy it, then let me know. That's why I asked you guys in yesterday's video, but hey, let me know. So yeah, he ends up bringing in Starmie. Starmie is actually something I kind of overlooked at team preview as being an issue, because if it has Psyshock, then I am going to be overwhelmed, because my Snorlax has to kind of be here to deal with Hydreigon, the Starmie, and more or less the Superior. And Starmie being Life Orb is actually terrifying, considering that, again, if he has Psyshock, then he's doing so much damage to my Snorlax. So I actually ended up going for the Toxic here, just because I didn't want to risk him trying to bring in the Superior. Also, I thought that maybe he would bring in the Swampert so he could get up his Stealth Rocks, but he actually ends up bringing in the Hydreigon. And the fact that I'm able to Toxic this Hydreigon is absolutely huge in this game, because now I can have a way of wearing it down over time. And if you remember the team preview, his only real answer to my Bronzong is this Hydreigon. So once this Hydreigon goes down, if the Superior is not boosted, and if the Starmie is not able to hit me too hard, then he's not really going to be able to break through Bronzong, which is going to be amazing. So I end up switching here into my Snorlax, just expecting him to go for the Dark Pulse, because again, at this point I'm convinced that he is choice specs, and I was able to scout out for that, as he does go for the Dark Pulse. Unfortunately gets a crit, but then I make a big misplay in going for another curse, or going for a curse I should say, because honestly what I should have done was just gone for the rest, considering that then I would have been able to boost out of range of this Hydreigon. But this thing is getting severely worn down, and I'm not exactly too concerned about it at this point. Now, the fact that he does want to save Hydreigon for later means that he is probably just going to keep it around to potentially sack off to something on my team. For example, potentially our Nidoking, considering that he didn't really have too many good switch-ins to Nidoking, but it's Scarf Nidoking, it's not hitting that hard in the first place anyways, but it should still be doing good damage to his mons, as I Fire Blast, crit, and burn the incoming Klefki. I guess maybe this was a little bit of justice for him critting my Snorlax and flinching me turn 1. But I don't think this Klefki honestly would have done too much in this game. Like, even if he had got up a layer of spikes, as long as he didn't get up a screen, then it wasn't doing entirely too much. And judging from the damage of Fire Blast, I would have been able to 2 KO him. So I guess depending on if he went for spikes or a light screen or reflect potentially, the crit might have mattered, might have not. It's not that big of an issue. As I knock him out with the Hyper Voice, in comes the Mega Aerodactyl. I do have a solid switch in the form of my Bronzong. I don't think Crunch is something that is typically too common on Mega Aerodactyl. I know they like to run Ice Fang nowadays, just because of how common and good Gliscor is in the UU tier. So he does actually end up going for the Ice Fang. I'm not gonna lie, I was so scared. I was so terrified that he was going to freeze me, and I had to take a second to thank Arceus that he didn't freeze me because now my Bronzong can kind of just stick around here for a little bit. I can probably just go for rocks. I can maybe go for a toxic. I might have even been able to go for the Psywave, and Psywave is actually a really interesting move to me. I think it does fixed damage, but the fixed damage varies from 50 points to 150 points, so it's like 50 or 100 and then up to 150, which is really interesting to me. I think that's how it works. Correct me if I'm wrong though. But he ends up going for the Scald here, most likely expecting me to bring in my Rotom-Mo. If I remember correctly, even though my Rotom-Mo is very, very low, I am still just slightly out of range of Stealth Rocks, so I felt that it still might be better for me to leave in Bronzong here, just to Toxic the Swampert. That way, if I wear down Swampert, it's going to be a lot easier for my Infernape to potentially beat it, and my Nidoking in the back to also knock it out, as I decided to go for the Psywave this turn, catching the incoming Starmie. I ended up making a really big misplay here. Like, the fact that he wanted to go for Rapid Spin should have been very, very obvious to me, but I ended up making the bad play, and I go for another Psywave. The reason why I say that's a bad play is because since he is faster than me, eventually he's going to spin away my rocks and drop down to his Life Orb. And since I go second, as he spins away my rocks that turn, at the end of the turn, I'm still going to end up getting on my rocks. So, yeah, that does kind of suck. I probably should have definitely just kept spamming Stealth Rocks there, because otherwise he would have knocked himself out to the Life Orb recall, and I would have ended up with rocks. So he ends up making a kind of smart play here, baits me to go for the Protect, and then switches into the Superior. Now, I don't want to risk a Leech Seed, and I don't want to risk him subbing, so what I'm going to do is actually switch into this defensive Infernape, which can definitely tank a Leaf Storm and a second Leaf Storm, or potentially a Hidden Power. And what that's going to enable me to do is go for my Fire type stab move against him and either knock him out or get off some damage on whatever comes in. I could have also potentially gone for the Slack Off, but I figured that it really wasn't that worth it for me to do that, because in the end Flamethrower still does good damage to Superior, and since he knocked me into Blaze range, I was able to knock him out. And if he had brought in the Swampert, that wouldn't have been a big issue either, because then I can bring in something else to deal with it. As a Vacuum Wave Mega Aerodactyl, he is going to finish me off here with the Pursuit. I was actually really surprised that Infernape was able to actually beat the Superior, because when I saw defensive Infernape on the set, I figured, okay, it's probably just for like Scizor, but it was able to really help out here against the Superior. So even though he has the Pursuit, Bronzong is just kind of sitting here like the Great Wall of China, not really caring about anything that my opponent wants to do. As I go for the Psywave, another Psywave will indeed be able to knock him out. So if I really wanted to, I can definitely go for it. Or I could also take this chance to get up my rocks. For a second there, I thought I went for the Toxic, but yeah, Swampert's already Toxic. So rocking here made a lot of sense, because he might have actually wanted to sack off Aerodactyl there, just trying to weaken me as much as possible. That way he could have a chance of trying to beat me with the Swampert if it came down to it. But I am able to get up my rocks. If I'm not mistaken, he still does have the Hydreigon in the back. So Hydreigon's going to drop to the Stealth Rocks. Aerodactyl, once it switches back in on rocks, is going to be at about 10%, and I don't think there is really any way that this Swampert is going to be able to beat Bronzong, and this is why that Toxic earlier in the match on the Hydreigon proved to be so crucial, because Hydreigon basically just got a free switch in every time on this Bronzong set if I didn't have the Toxic. So once I was able to land the Toxic on it, thanks to the Protect, I was going to be able to kind of slowly wear it down, and then him being able to just kind of freely spam Dark Pulse, especially with my Altaria being paralyzed, he could have potentially para-flinched that down. But because of the Toxic, because of the rocks, Hydreigon was basically just nullified, and it's not a threat whatsoever. So I'm able to knock out the Swampert here. As I mentioned, Hydreigon drops to the rocks, and then once Mega Aerodactyl switches in, it's not going to be able to finish me off with any singular hit. I guess what I could have done with Bronzong is gone for the Protect, but oh no, it actually did drop the rocks. Oh, for some reason I thought he was going to live rocks. But yeah, both of these mons at this point dropped the rocks, and Bronzong out here, man, just put the team on his back, pulling out the W for us in today's battle. So if you guys did enjoy, hit that hammer arm, that thumbs up button down below. Let me know in the comment section below again if you do like the face camera now, or answer the potential question of the day, which should be right over there. Actually, yeah, it's literally right there. Answer it. Let me know what you think about it. So yeah, I hope y'all did enjoy. I will see y'all tomorrow. Not with the battle though. Tomorrow I gotta do team builders and MPA playoffs, and then Sunday is GBAD week 1 and P4G week 5, and then I'll have another Wi-Fi battle, regular Wi-Fi battle I should say, up for y'all on Monday. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope y'all did enjoy. Later.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, yeah. 6 foot hacks, hacks.